Hey everyone, it's Dr. Brennan, part of my 150-day transformation. I'm now on day 6. Today I wanted to cover the concepts on carbs, proteins, and fats, and the ratios between those, and how to optimize the macronutrients for optimizing weight loss and overall health. Over the years, it was kind of expected that, heart risk, chronic disease, and all that was due to high fats and diets. That's typical. Okay, so then we move forward a little bit. We start looking at fats to be a bit more healthy, but we went through a stage where proteins were everybody's favorite thing. Well, you need protein. It builds muscle. Let's do very high protein diets. Think of Atkins diet. And it solved issues for some. Other people didn't react well to it. And as I've kind of already stated in previous videos, we've moved towards different concepts. It's not just about the ratios, but the quality of food involved in the diet, as well as the timing of eating. So again, we go back to the ketogenic and intermittent fasting, those types of principles, as well as the Paleolithic and what type of whole foods and which foods to choose that is best for your body. Now, as far as what I want to talk about today is, imagine that you had, a graph, and you had 3 bars, one in the middle and one over here on the left. And that's my left, your right. And the first one is carbs, the second one is protein, and the third one is fat. And in a high carbohydrate diet, most of your calories are obviously carbohydrates. Carbs do 2 things. They get burned for energy, and then they get stored as fat. Proteins, if you have a high protein diet, it's going to go into the body, and it's primarily going to be used for building up muscle. That's the first choice. But if you don't have a demand for that, in other words, you have enough protein to meet the demand, or your body simply can't process the amount of protein you ate fast enough, then what happens is that protein sits in its current state, becomes inflammatory, goes through detoxification pathways, where half of it becomes very toxic to the body in the form of nitrates, nitrites, and urea, nitrogen, and then the other half of every amino acid gets split off, and it goes and gets turned into calories for energy production as well. So proteins can be used for energy. It's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Protein in general is vastly misunderstood. The most bioavailable protein, whole food protein, is hen egg, and it's only 50% utilized. In other words, only 50% of it goes to building up the body. The other 50% goes down this detoxification pathway where the amino acids split, and you got this waste over here, and then you got calories over here. The calories don't help with weight loss because it's getting used to burn energy. You want that energy burn to be using fat, not protein. And of course, when you're trying to cleanse and decrease cancer risk and damage to the body, oxidation and inflammation, having these waste particles over here in excess from protein is also something that you want to minimize as well. So that's one of the reasons why fasting cleanses are important, and protein oftentimes gets pulled out of those cleanses because of its toxicity levels and the caloric contributions that it has to your physiology. Your protein supplements are vastly, let me get back to the foods. The average food is roughly around 33% utilized. So only 1/3 actually goes to building muscle, and the rest of this protein is turned into calories and waste. The average protein supplement hovers around the 14 to 16% mark. And that means it's vastly inefficient. If I take 30 to 35 grams of protein, very little of that, probably roughly 6 to 7 grams is actually going anywhere near a muscle. And that creates issues, especially when you're wanting efficiency. You want to streamline your body so it's spending energy simply building muscle, burning fat, and doing a really good job of cleaning out the body of the toxins and the toxicities. So that's the middle one. That's the high protein diets. Understanding that protein is important. We'll come back to that in a second. Then the fats, high fats. Well, it's big. There's a lot of studies done, trans fats, overcooking fats, all of those things. It's absolutely true. Trying to go to raw foods is an easy, quick fix for that. Understanding which fats get damaged when you cook them at too high temperatures is important. Cooking most fats over 350 degrees is a simple no-no. Slow cook your foods over low temperatures as much as possible. The one fat that is safe to cook with above 350 degrees is avocado oil. It goes to 450 degrees. But then your issue is whatever food you're cooking in the avocado oil, should it be cooked at 450 degrees? Probably not. Most other fats will get denatured before you reach 450 degrees. And those fats are very damaging again. They have a high level of toxic, inflammatory, and oxidative properties to them. And that's where creating plaquing is a key piece to that, but also increasing risk for damage to DNA, which is indirectly an increased risk for cancers, things of that nature. So obviously, if you're trying to burn fat, you don't want to have carbohydrates, because the two things it does is burn energy and get stored as fat. So this right bar, you want it to be as relatively low as possible. The only carbohydrates you want are high dense carbohydrates, highly dense, nutrient-dense carbohydrates. So you're getting what you want out of that. You want those to be your dark berries. You want it to be low glycemic index, fruits that have a ton of B vitamins, other micronutrients, minerals, etc. And then, of course, the protein, you want it to be the right protein. You want it to be as biologically available to your body as possible. So when you are having it, you're getting as much out of that protein as you can, especially at this time of the year. We're talking about weight loss programs and cleansing. You can do both at the same time by being able to more or less just stop the bleeding, so to speak, and eating better protein than you were. So you decrease the amount of the detoxification pathways that are being utilized, decreasing the toxins, and decreasing the caloric usage of the protein. Burning it for energy is what I mean. And then fats. Yes, fats are kind of counterintuitive. We do need saturated fat, but the healthy types. Everybody's huge on coconut oil. But one of the big advantages of coconut oil is it's not just the saturated fat that it has, it's the medium chain triglycerides that it has. So using MCT oil, bulletproof coffee as a part of your programs can be a huge boost, because that same MCT oil is an amazing precursor to helping push your body into a state of ketosis during the state of fasting. And you can use it just for that, because unlike saturated fats and other forms of cholesterol that you eat, medium chain triglycerides are not digested. They're automatically absorbed. And then they're also not processed by the liver. So you're not putting any more stress on the liver to do what it needs to do, allowing it to go straight to the cells and to be burned as energy. They almost act in a hormonal fashion, triggering actually more fat burn from your fat stores, increasing the amount of internal fat that you burn. It's counterintuitive, but it's there. There's science behind that, and it's definitely something that you want to consider when you're looking at weight loss as a part of your program. If you're also wanting to look at being ketogenic, it doesn't just have to be about weight loss. It can be about alkalinity versus acidity. It's a more alkaline type of state of the body. But also the thing that's misconstrued about ketones is it is by far preferred by the brain as a source of energy. You will be much clearer in your train of thought and productivity when your brain is running on ketogenic energy versus glucose or sugar energy. Now, the other thing that I want to say about that is exogenous ketones can sometimes be used to also help push things over the top there. You also have other very healthy anti-inflammatory fats like omega-3 oils, EPA and DHA, among others. Making sure that you have good oils and to make sure that you're not denaturing them and making sure that they're not in over excess is very important for any program to have the best results it possibly can. Not just keeping your body overall healthy and to detox appropriately, but to actually enhance the fat burning process. When your body gets good fats, this is the way the body works. If it's seeing good fats and plenty of it, it doesn't think it needs to store fat because it thinks that the environment has these things in abundance. Therefore, it believes that it's coming tomorrow and the next day, so it feels more comfortable letting go of all these energy stores that are available. Now, when I'm doing programs, we know that you have the low carbohydrate over here in this bar. You're going to want typically some level of protein in the middle and then high fat over here. When you're trying to do short-term programs like I'm doing right now on the 10 days that I'm kind of cleansing and really focusing on cleaning out my body, I want to minimize that protein entirely. So remember, even the hen egg is only 50% utilized. And that's very important to keep in mind when I'm trying to specifically cleanse and get all the toxicity out of my body and prep myself to get into the gym, right now what I'm doing is I'm going to decrease the calories from protein almost down to none by using what is called MAP protein. It is in the physician's desk reference. It's used in hospitals for paraplegics, and it's very important because it is net nitrogen utilized, or its utilization rate is 99%. It's just adult essential amino acids. It's not digested, so you can take this during the fasting state of intermittent fasting programs, and it keeps me anabolic while I'm in a fasting state. Listen to that again. That's not supposed to be possible. I can be anabolic and have protein in my diet while fasting because it's pre-digested. It goes straight through. It's not processed by anything. It's pure amino acids that go throughout the body. The other key is it's essential amino acids. So these amino acids your body can turn into all the other types of amino acids your body needs, which means you can create all the proteins that your body needs. There's more flexibility when you eat these type of amino acids versus the non-essential amino acids, which have limited and more focused uses. So they have a higher risk of becoming waste and being pulled out of the body. So to top this off, what this allows me to do is to drop the calorie count of the protein almost down to none, but I'm operating like I'm having 200 plus grams of protein a day without any of that detoxification or caloric usage from other protein sources. So that's the biggest trick that I have. So I'm living on that 1,000, 1,200 calories a day, but I'm burning fat like I have almost no calories because this enhances my program all the way around. So listen closely. If I have my protein, caloric intake come down, that means I have to get my calories from somewhere. Well, I'm going to get that from my body's fat. And so that's more calories that have to come from fat. But the other key is that I'm actually staying anabolic. This is important because now my resting metabolic rate is staying higher because my muscle is being fed and it is more metabolically active. So not only did the calories that my body would like to use from protein either in the diet or protein waste when I go completely fasting, it's not able to do that. So those calories have to come from fat, but now my body's burning even more calories every day because I'm anabolic. And so even more calories get burned from fat. This is how I'm able to lose the amount of weight that I'm able to every day during that 10-day process, feel great, not sacrifice my health whatsoever because it's just a caloric difference. That's it. I have all my macronutrients needs, I have all my fat needs, I have all of my protein requirements, and carbohydrates are going to be in there in minimal but acceptable amounts to get the other micronutrients that I need from those food sources. My program is very whole food based, so I'm doing, again, dark berries, blueberries, tart cherries, what's some of the other ones? Blackberries, so on and so forth. And then on the vegetable side, we're sticking to very dense type of veggies like kale, sauteed kale, things of that nature. And on the protein side, I'm using the MAP protein, and it allows me to get more calories out of the other two, actually, that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise to lose weight at this pace. I can have a few more carbs, which gets me more of those micronutrients, which pushes my metabolism and cleans out my body quicker. So that's macronutrients. The key is to optimize the body. That was a step-by-step process of how you can tweak your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into turning yourself into a supercharged machine on how to cleanse and get weight loss at the same time better and more efficiently. So I'm now on day 6. I think I was down 10 pounds this morning at this point, so that was pleasurable. I did not have time to do my cardio or my waist measurements, so I will do those tomorrow morning and kind of catch up on those things. With all that said, I think that's enough for day 1. That's going to run long. Thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow with my next live video. Have a good evening.